What if everything you've been taught about reality is incomplete? Imagine discovering a hidden blueprint within you, a divine code connecting you directly to an unseen spiritual kingdom. This isn't just theory, it's an activation, a doorway to experiencing a deeper, more profound existence than you ever thought possible. So let's do that. Let's pause the noise. We're all out here grinding, chasing the bag, trying to keep up with the Joneses, scrolling through the gram, living life on the surface. It's all good, I get it. But what if I told you that this whole scene, the stress, the drama, the quest for more, is just the trailer? And I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the real blockbuster happening behind your screen. The real you, the true you, ain't just this flesh and bone avatar running around. Nah. You've got a whole other situation going on, a master plan, a divine source code that was installed in you before you even showed up to the party. This ain't some outside job, something you gotta beg, borrow, or steal to get. It's already yours. It's your original blueprint, your Genesis blueprint, and it's plugged directly into an unseen kingdom that's not up in the clouds, but right here, right now, operating on a frequency most of us have forgotten how to tune into. So, the million-dollar question is, what's actually written on your blueprint? And are you ready to finally boot it up? If this hit different, do me a solid, like this video, drop a 111 in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. The real talk is just getting started. The real blockbuster happening behind your screen. Let's break that down for a second. You wake up, you check your phone. That's the first hit. You see the news, the drama at work, the bills in your mailbox, the whole endless scroll of problems and desires. We are trained from jump to believe that this world of stuff, this world of forms, is the main event. We think the goal of the spiritual journey is to fix this simulation, to get better stuff in the game, to level up our avatar so it has a nicer house or a smoother ride. But what if I told you that the entire setup, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly, is, on its own level, a glitch? It's not ultimately real. Now hold on, I'm not saying it doesn't feel real. That pain in your heart when things go wrong, that's real. That anxiety in your gut, it feels real. But it's real like a movie is real when you're lost in it. You jump when the monster pops out, you cry when the hero falls. But when the credits roll, you remember, oh yeah, that was a story. I was in a seat the whole time. That wasn't actually me. This world of appearance, what Joel called the world of effect, is the credits rolling before the movie even starts. It's the output, the projection. We're so busy trying to manipulate the projection, trying to polish the image on the screen, that we never think to check the projector, or better yet, the source file it's playing from. We're trying to fix a lagging video by wiping the screen instead of checking the computer's core processor. Think about anxiety. It's almost never about the actual thing in front of you. It's a glitchy program running in the background. What a virus of what if and if only that drains your battery and makes the whole system run hot. Or think about lack. You see an empty bank account and you perceive it as ultimate reality. But that's just a number on a screen, a temporary readout. It is not the sum total of your supply, which originates in the unseen. The feeling of lack is a perceptual glitch, a misreading of your true, infinite nature. This human experience, with all its drama and trauma, its wins and losses, is the simulation. It's the veil. It's the matrix. And the reason we feel so unsettled, so anxious, so perpetually hungry for something we can't even name, is because a part of us, deep in our core, knows this isn't all there is. We can feel the hum of the real hardware underneath the cheap graphics. We sense that we are the consciousness watching the simulation, not just the character trapped inside of it. So when you find yourself completely bought into the drama, when you're convinced that this problem is your final reality, remember you're just looking at a glitchy screen. The problem isn't the problem. The problem is you've mistaken the screen for the source. You've mistaken the screen for the source. So if all this, the stress, the chase, or the entire show is just a glitchy projection, then who or what is the one watching it? If you're not just the avatar on the screen, then what are you? This is where it gets wild, because the answer isn't something you find. It's what you already are. Beneath the glitchy simulation, behind all the noise and the static of your personal history and your reactions, there is a foundational code. This isn't a metaphor. I'm talking about your original, divine and perfect design, your source code. Think of it like this. Every piece of software, from the most basic app to the most complex video game, comes from a source code. It's the original set of instructions, written by the programmer, that dictates everything the program can be and do. The final product you see on your phone, the buttons you tap, the graphics you see, that's just the compiled, finished version. But the real power, the real intelligence is in that original code. Now, the person you think you are walking around in the world, that's the finished app. You've got bugs. You crash sometimes. You need updates. You're operating in the world of effect. But that's not the real you. The real you is the pristine, perfect, and infinitely powerful source code from which this temporary app called your human life is being generated. This code is written in the language of spirit. Its primary instruction is one thing: I am. It is pure, unconditioned being. It doesn't have the baggage your personal story has. It doesn't know fear. It doesn't know lack. It doesn't know sickness or limitation. Those are all bugs, viruses, and corrupted data files that have been downloaded into the operational system over the years. They're not part of the original code. Your source code is the Christ, the Buddha nature, the divine spark. It is the unshakable, unbreakable, and utterly whole blueprint of your true identity. It is the image and likeness itself. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to debug the app. We go to therapists to fix one bug. We read self-help books to patch another. We try affirmations to overwrite a faulty line of thinking. And that's all good work. It has its place. But it's like constantly cleaning and polishing the screen while the internal processor is overheating. It's a temporary fix. The radical work, the real transformation, happens when you stop trying to fix the app and instead return your awareness to the source code. You have to shift your identity from the program that's running to the programmer that I wrote it. You're not the troubled human having a spiritual experience. You are the spiritual being, the Christ, temporarily having a human experience. The moment you make that flip in your understanding, the entire game changes. The glitches don't disappear, but they lose their power over you, because you know they are not in the original design. They cannot touch the core of who you are. They cannot touch the core of who you are. So if our true self is this perfect, divine source code, then where is this unseen kingdom we're supposed to be activating? We hear that phrase and our minds, trained by the simulation, immediately go to a place. We picture a far-off castle in the clouds, a heavenly city you get to after you die, some other dimension you need a spaceship to reach. We think of it as a location, a destination, and that right there is the very glitch that keeps us from plugging into it. The kingdom ain't a place you go to. It's a frequency you tune into. Think about the air around you right now. You can't see it, but you know it's there. You're breathing it. Now, in that same air, all around you, are countless radio waves, Wi-Fi signals, cell phone data, a whole invisible symphony of information and energy. It's all right here, right now. But you are completely unaware of it unless you have a device that's tuned to the right frequency. If you want to hear the rock station, you can't just yell at the air for it. You have to turn the dial to 98.5. If you want to connect to the Wi-Fi, your laptop has to be set to receive that specific signal. The kingdom operates on the exact same principle. It is not separate from you in space, it is separate from you in consciousness. It's a different channel on the dial of reality. Your human earth-suit consciousness, with all its worries and its to-do lists and its past regrets, is tuned to one frequency, the frequency of the simulation, the world of effect. It's like your radio is permanently stuck on the problems and drama station. It's all static bad news and anxiety-inducing talk shows. The unseen kingdom is broadcasting 24/7 on a completely different bandwidth. The bandwidth of peace, wholeness, infinite intelligence, and unconditional love. It's the IAM station. The signal is perfect and it's broadcasting right into this room, right into your very being, at this very moment. The issue is never that the kingdom isn't here. The issue is that our receiver is tuned to the wrong channel. So the entire spiritual journey, the whole point of activating this kingdom, has nothing to do with going somewhere or getting something you don't have. It has everything to do with adjusting your inner tuner. It's about turning the dial within your own awareness from the noisy, chaotic frequency of the outer world to the silent, powerful frequency of the inner kingdom. When you do that, you don't change the kingdom. You simply become aware of the kingdom that has always been present. You begin to perceive the harmony behind the noise, the solution before the problem arises, the supply before the need manifests. You start to live from the finished kingdom, and that reality then begins to project itself onto the screen of your life. Not the other way around. The outer world doesn't change you. You, by changing your frequency, change the outer world. The outer world doesn't change you. You, by changing your frequency, change the outer world. So the big question becomes, how do you actually turn that dial? If the kingdom is a frequency, what's the knob? What's the action we take? This is where we have to completely flip the script on what we've been taught about prayer. Most of us, when we think about prayer, we think of it as a request line. It's like we're calling up some cosmic customer service department, hoping to get a patient rep on the line so we can plead our case. Hello, God. Yeah, my life's kind of a mess right now. I could really use a better situation. If you could just fix this one thing for me, that'd be great. We're treating prayer like a transaction, a wish list sent out into the void. We're asking for the simulation to be different. But if the kingdom is already whole and complete within, and our only job is to tune into it, then prayer can't be about asking for things to be added or taken away from the screen. That's just trying to edit the movie from your seat in the theater. Real prayer, the kind that activates your Genesis blueprint, is about rebooting the entire system. It's the process of shutting down the noisy, glitchy program of the outer world, the problems and drama station, so that the native operating system of the kingdom can boot up without interference. Think about when your computer freezes. The mouse won't move, the screen is locked up. What's the first thing you do? You don't start meticulously trying to fix each frozen pixel on the monitor. You hold down the power button. You force a shutdown. You create a moment of silence, of nothingness, so that the computer can restart from its core programming. That silent, powerful moment when the old program is closed and the new one is loading. That's prayer. It's not about the words you say. In fact, most of the time, words just add more noise to the frozen screen. It's about the conscious, intentional act of shutting down your reliance on the simulation and allowing the source code to re-initialize. This is an interaction. You close your eyes. You get still. You consciously release your grip on every problem, every fear, every single thing you were trying to control or figure out with your personal mind. You let it all go. You're not asking for specific outcomes anymore. You're not begging or bargaining. You are simply powering down the ego's computer. You are creating a vacuum, a sacred space of silence, and in that silence, the only thing that can possibly flood in is the presence that was always there. It's in that rebooted state that you stop being a person trying to get God to do something, and you become the very channel through which God's harmony, intelligence, and life expresses itself. The feeling you get is not one of "my prayer was answered," but one of I have become the answer. Your very being becomes the cleared channel, and the perfect signal of the kingdom flows through, automatically reorganizing the projection of your life from the inside out. Your very being becomes the cleared channel, and the perfect signal of the kingdom flows through, automatically reorganizing the projection of your life from the inside out. Now, this is where most of us get tripped up, because this sounds incredibly passive. We hear, become a channel, and we think we just sit back and do nothing. But that's not it. This is the most active form of non-action you will ever undertake. Your entire job in this process, the only thing you are truly responsible for, is to get out of the way. I need you to understand this, because it's the master key. Your personal sense of self, your ego, that voice in your head that's always planning, worrying, judging, and taking credit. That is the main thing blocking the signal. It's not that God isn't flowing, it's that you've built a dam made of your own selfhood, and your only work is to dismantle it. Think of it like this. You're a pipe, and the infinite water of life is trying to flow through you to water the garden of your experience. But your pipe is clogged with the gunk of your personal opinions, your past resentments, your attachment to how things should look, and your constant effort to manage everything. You're so busy trying to be the water, to manufacture your own supply, that you're kinking the hose. The work isn't to become a better, sheenier, more spiritual piece of pipe. The work is to remove the kinks and clean out the gunk so the water that is always available can flow freely. The water has its own intelligence. It knows where to go. You don't have to direct it. You just have to stop blocking it. This means that in any given situation, your primary focus shifts from "what should I do?" to "what is being done through me?" It's a surrender of your will, not to fate, but to a higher intelligence that already knows the perfect outcome. You stop identifying as the problem solver and start embedding as the conduit for the solution. When a challenge comes up, instead of your mind immediately kicking into overdrive, spinning out a dozen scenarios and plans of attack, your first internal move is to get still. You consciously step back. You acknowledge, my personal toolkit is insufficient here. I am going to get my little self, with its limited understanding, out of the way and let the infinite intelligence of my source code handle this. This is the opposite of being lazy. It requires immense spiritual discipline. Your ego will fight you tooth and nail. It will scream that this is irresponsible, that if you don't worry and strive and figure it out, everything will fall apart. Your job is to let those thoughts come, acknowledge them as the gunk that they are, and refuse to let them kink the pipe. You abide in the trust that the same power that designed your Genesis blueprint, that formed the stars and knows the number of hairs on your head, is perfectly capable of managing the details of your life. You are not resigning from life. You are resigning as the general manager of the universe and taking your rightful place as the witness, the vessel, through which the universe beautifully and intelligently manages itself. You are resigning as the general manager of the universe and taking your rightful place as the witness, the vessel, through which the universe beautifully and intelligently manages itself. So, if our job is to get out of the way, to unkink the hose and let the water flow, the final and most practical question is, where does this happen? Where is the control room for this entire operation? Where do we go to find this silence, to power down the ego's computer, to get our noisy selfhood out of the way? The answer is not in a church building, not on a mountaintop in Tibet, not in any external location. The entire activation of your Genesis blueprint, the entire tuning of your receiver to the kingdom's frequency, happens in one place and one place only: the silence within. Not just the absence of sound, but a profound, living, palpable quiet at the very core of your being. This is the womb of all creation, the field where the unseen becomes seen. Think of your mind like a snow globe that's been shaken non-stop since the day you were born. All the glitter and flakes swirling around are your thoughts. Your memories, your fears, your desires. You're trying to see clearly through this blizzard, trying to make out the shape of your life, but the view is totally obscured by the chaotic storm of your own mental activity. You can't see the kingdom because your own inner weather is in the way. Going into the silence isn't about making your mind blank. That's a fight you'll always lose. It's about setting the snow globe down. You stop shaking it. You stop adding new energy to the storm. You just sit, you breathe, and you watch. You let the flakes, one by one, settle. You don't judge them. You don't follow them. You just allow them to fall until the water is crystal clear. In that clarity, for the first time, you can see what was always there. You can perceive the still, small voice that was drowned out by the noise. You can feel the hum of the kingdom's frequency. This is the sacred space where your source code is activated. It's in this unshakable quiet that the divine programmer can finally upload the updates, not as words or visions, but as a direct knowing, a recalibration of your entire being. In the noise, you are the human trying to be spiritual. In the silence, you remember you are the spirit having a human experience. It's a shift in identity that can only occur when the chatter of the false self subsides. This is where real prayer happens. This is where you truly get out of the way. You aren't doing anything in the silence. You are being. And in that state of pure being, the I am, your original blueprint, lights up like a cosmic circuit board. The unseen kingdom is no longer a theological concept. It is your native state, your operational headquarters. From this place of settled clarity, you don't have to figure out your next move. You are moved. You don't have to manufacture love or peace or power. You become a transparent outlet for them, and they flow out from this inner sanctuary to reorganize every circumstance of your life, not because you forced it, but because it is the natural radiation of what you have consciously connected to in the quiet.